I'm always getting these questions. Prince, I want to train like a Jedi. Prince, I want to train like a Sith. Prince, how does someone become an urban acolyte? Look, I'm not promoting a live-action role-play group. Becoming a Jedi, or maybe even a Sith, is training to become the best version of yourself. And the key word is training. If you're ready to roll up your sleeves and get dirty, look, I got this free guide called Becoming Darth Maul. It's not made up nonsense on how to become a Sith Lord, but actual training for your body and to get the right mindset to become a warrior in the real world. So if you're ready to take your first steps into a bigger world, go ahead and download the free Darth Maul guide today. What's up, y'all? My name is Prince, and I'm an urban acolyte. If you haven't heard, there's a rumor that David Benioff and Dan Weiss, the guys producing Game of Thrones, are going to start working on their Star Wars trilogy this fall. And the rumor goes on to say that it'll be set hundreds of years before the Skywalker Saga. The rumor is coming from John Hoey, the co-lead editor and senior writer for Star Wars News Net. And John says his source for the rumor is someone who has worked on every Star Wars film since Lucasfilm was acquired by Disney. And that person's 95% sure about this information. Now, what John said from his source is that they were approached about working on the next movie this autumn. It's not Rian Johnson's trilogy. It's the Game of Thrones guys' first movie, and it is set during the Old Republic, as Disney wants to open up the Star Wars timeline and appeal to a more Game of Thrones style audience. So the timeline is hundreds of years prior to the Skywalkers. So think almost Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings. Filming starts in the fall, and art departments are in design phases now as the script is being finalized. That's all I know, but I'm 95% confident that this is accurate information. Again, this is only a rumor, and John has not been able to confirm any of this information with his other sources who have worked on Star Wars films or any inside contacts that he may have within Lucasfilm who can confirm this information. Now, I would have to say to keep checking back with Star Wars News Net for any confirmation from John. I mean, you can stay tuned here, but dog, I'm so overwhelmed with these other martial arts videos that it might take me a while to get to it. I mean, I've already known about this information for the last 2 days, and I'm just now getting around to doing the video. But anyway, maybe all of this is true. I want to say why you shouldn't get excited for the Old Republic. I mean, yay, it means more Star Wars. And I for sure would like to see Star Wars with more Jedi, Sith, and Force abilities up at front and center. But I have to make some things clear because I feel like the people that I've seen discussing this are setting up Star Wars fans for a huge disappointment. Look, y'all, when people mention anything to do with Star Wars and the Old Republic, they instantly think of Revan and Bastila. Okay, what do we actually know about the Old Republic? We know that there was a schism within the Jedi Order that led to the creation of the Sith Order. We know that there was a Jedi-Mandalorian war. We know that the Jedi went on a literal crusade to wipe out the Sith, and something happened at MALAK that caused the Sith to spend maybe 1,000 years planning their revenge, which all happens during the Skywalker Saga. We've learned about some new Sith Lords in addition to Darth Bane and the Sith Lords from the prequels. We know that there was another group that broke off from the Jedi called the Ordo Aspectu that was very much like the Sith in that they were seeking physical immortality. We also know, based on what Palpatine said, that at some point the Sith ruled the galaxy. We don't know much more than what I've stated. We don't know if there was a Sith Emperor ever named Vitiate. We don't know if Revan and MALAK ever disobeyed the Jedi Order, led a group of Jedi against the Mandalorians, and later returned to the Republic as Sith Lords with an army and Rakata technology. See, I belong to a group on Facebook who are fans of the Old Republic. And when I joined that group, I thought I was joining a group of fans of the MMO game, Star Wars The Old Republic. But it turns out that the people in the group, at least right now, are fans of the BioWare story about the Old Republic. They're fans of the legend stories about the Old Republic. When they heard that the Old Republic could be part of the canon stories coming out over the next decade, they automatically assume that it's going to be Revan and Bastila, Darth Malgus, Satele Shan, all the stuff from the video games and the comic books about the story that BioWare presented in Knights of the Old Republic, the computer game that came out in 2003. Look, this is why you shouldn't get excited about the Old Republic coming. Because if you're expecting to see the story that was in Knights of the Old Republic, hey dog, you're going to be disappointed. Pablo Hidalgo said a long time ago that maybe Revan is just a legend that people talk about. This Jedi who was maybe a Sith, that no one really knows what the truth is about them. And I say them, meaning no one actually knows if Revan was a man or a woman. I mean, that could say that the story group hasn't decided on the status of Revan. They have decided, and Pablo isn't going to let anything slip, or Revan is going to be a carrot that they just dangle out there for Star Wars fans the way Broly was for Dragon Ball fans before he became canon. Another thing, Pablo Hidalgo has always had some rather funny things to say about how when you look at the Old Republic games that are supposed to be set 4,000 years before the events in the prequels, all of the technology, for the most part, looks the same as what we see in the movies. Republic soldiers look pretty much the same as clone troopers. Ships look the same. It's like there hasn't been any progress made when it comes to technology in 4,000 years. So I'd say this. I think the description of think of Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings is very telling. Star Wars is supposed to be this space fantasy. How would you feel if the fantasy angle was played up more than the science fiction space aspect? So I'm really saying be open to this story being set in the Old Republic, but it's not the Old Republic that some people are expecting to see. I mean, this sounds like it's going to be intended for a more mature audience, but even adult fans who are old enough to have been around for the Knights of the Old Republic games are not knowledgeable of Revan and Bastila. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I see a whole lot of adult REYLO fans who don't even know the story of Revan and Bastila outside of what they gleaned off of Wikipedia, Tumblr, or somebody's YouTube video who might not be the best source of information because they don't even know. I mean, like my cousin DJ is a huge Star Wars fan, but he wasn't playing Knights of the Old Republic back in 2003. I know what he was doing. He was smashing them honeys. I hope, Cousin Lucy, I hope you're not watching this video. Baby Wade and De'Ara, I hope y'all aren't watching this. He wasn't doing anything bad. My bad, cuz. But anyway, I had somebody from a popular Star Wars blog suggest that I do something around those old Star Wars games from the 90s on this channel to get more Star Wars fans interested in my content. But bro, I'm not playing those games. I played all the Knights of the Old Republic in 2003. I loved that game. I started playing Knights of the Old Republic 2 when I got deployed to my ship in the Gulf, and I never picked the game up again. If someone wants to take my Star Wars creds for not finishing Lords of the Sith, hey, you can have them. I'll take going to Dubai, Hong Kong, and Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia any day because all that stuff set me on the path to become an urban acolyte. And I met a whole lot of fine women while I was overseas. But remember, at the end of the day, this stuff is entertainment. If you can take a lesson or a piece of inspiration away from it to enrich your lives and the lives of others, that's what's important. So if we get this Old Republic trilogy and it's some completely new story that doesn't involve Revan, Bastila, or any of the events from Legends, look, it's not the end of the world. Your childhood wasn't ruined. There are fans out there who didn't know anything about this stuff, and there's nothing wrong with them if they like this canon story, even if it has nothing to do with the stuff from the video games and from Legends. Look, I'm just trying to tell y'all to go in with an open mind. If you never knew anything about the Old Republic, and I came up to you after Game of Thrones ends in a few months, and I said, hey, dog, Dave and Dan are making something like a new Game of Thrones, but it's set in Star Wars, bro. Imagine all those crazy battle scenes with lightsabers and the Force, bro. I mean, if you already like Game of Thrones, you also like Star Wars. You probably come close to jizzing your pants with excitement. like, yo, man, this can be a good thing. Actually, I'm going to break from the script. This is totally ad-libbed. But the lady at the grocery store on the corner is a huge Star Wars fan. And I literally told her, hey, it's a rumor that they're working on the new trilogy. It's supposed to be Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings, and it's being done by the dudes in charge of Game of Thrones. And hey, she completely lost it. So yeah, that's your real world example. That's not in the script. Let me get back to it. So anyway, since I've always said to use the present to build the past, I feel like whatever is happening in these movies could be something that sets up Rian Johnson's movie. And I feel like both could be building on something that happens in episode 9. The circle expands beyond the concerns of the Skywalker family to focus back on the galaxy as a whole. That thing that Kylo Ren, this dude in the First Order, are competing with Rey, Finn, and Poe, and the resistance to find that MacGuffin that making Star Wars has been talking about, that could have its origin story told in an Old Republic prequel trilogy. And the outcome of whatever it is that MacGuffin in episode 9 could be told in the Rian Johnson produced movies. And that's how you tie all of this stuff together while telling brand new stories set in the Star Wars universe. So, if you like this video, hey, hit that like button and share it with your friends. Share it, please. If you have something to share with the Urban Acolyte community, hey, post it down below in the comments, and I'll be checking back to see what you have to say. And hey, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead, click that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an Urban Acolyte. Embark on the journey of becoming the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. Hey, make sure to enable notifications to follow me on Facebook, or make sure to enable notifications and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and on the gram so you'll know when I'm going live with Star Wars chats. I'm going to leave that in there. And if you're interested in getting deeper into the whole real-life Jedi thing, hey, hit my link so you can get your free Darth Maul training manual today. But for real, that's all I got for this video. So thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you. Always.